Good evening. Today is September the 5th, 2023. Our thought for today is nothing ever comes to one that is worth having as a result of, nothing ever comes to one that is worth having except as a result of hard work. That's Booker T. Washington. I'm going to go ahead and officially call this meeting to order tonight. I'm going to ask Commissioner Edwards if he would lead us in our prayer tonight, and if he would also lead us in our pledge tonight.
We'd bow our heads, please. Dear Lord, thank you for another wonderful day. Thank you for an opportunity to come together as commissioners and do the county's business. We ask that you preside over this entire meeting. Give us discernment and wisdom. We ask these things in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you guys for that. Thank you, Commissioner Edwards, for that. Next on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Seek a motion that we approve the agenda, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? Any passes 4-0. Thank you. Guys, I do want to also say that Commissioner Cowan is not with us tonight. He is actually getting ready for surgery in the morning. So we want to keep him in our prayers as well. Next is citizens' comments. This is an opportunity that we allow citizens to make comments about agenda topics only. Agenda topics only. You have 3 minutes to do so. If you would, please state your name, your address for the record, please. You may come at this time. Agenda topics only.
Archie Shepherd, 9169 Village Drive, Covington, Georgia. Item 10, it is a shame and a disgrace that y'all prejudiced commissioners set up here and deny a person attending the Black Organization Conference. It's a shame. It is a shame. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. It's a disgrace. I don't know what to say about y'all commission. Y'all ought to run out of town.
Anyone else would like to make comments? Agenda topics only. Agenda topics only. Agenda topics only. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the chairman's report. I don't have anything to report. Leave my time for the county manager. Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members, citizens. Today's Today I come to you all with the county manager's report. We're going to focus on our internal stakeholders, our staff, in reference to our 3P approach, people, and the fine work that they do for the community. As you all know, we're comprised of 17 work units and/or departments, and these are the people that do the heavy lifting every day, the true unsung heroes of Newton County. I want to give a special thank you to Ms. Angela White Davis, our Director of Elections and Voter Registration, and also our Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Kel Curtis, for appearing before our Youth Commission on August 14th to describe how their work impacts the community as a whole. And today we're going to focus on our workforce unit called Human Services. And those departments are comprised of Human Resources and Risk Management, Senior Services, our Elections and Voter Registration Department, our Parks and Recreation Department as well. To start with elections and voter registration. There are currently more than 91,000 registered voters in Newton County. That makes up 78% of our citizens. And the last day to register for the upcoming election is October 10th, 2023. Ms. Davis White has a small department, but they do great work, and she currently has 6 full-time employees and has an additional 200 poll workers. Their staff is required to attend mandated trainings for certifications at the state level, and they also attend workshops that are often facilitated by the Carl Vinson Institute. Election day is November 7th. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Let's look at our early voting locations and the process. The portal to accept absentee ballots already began. It began on August 21st. Countywide voters will decide the ballot question concerning senior homestead exemptions for school taxes. And our locations and times for early voting are our Turner Lake Recreation Center banquet room and Prospect Church at Oak Hill. The early voting process will be from October 16th through November 3rd, with our Turner Lake facility offering the 2 Saturdays where we'll have Saturday voting. And that voting will take place from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October 21st and October 28th. Let's talk about the Department of Human Resources. This is the department that touches and interfaces with all departments within the county, but also touches internal and external stakeholders, led by Director Amanda Shoemaker. This calendar year, some of the initiatives that have been completed by this department are as follows. They've processed 942 applications, scheduled and hosted 53 interviews with 147 employment candidates, and onboarded 120 employees since January 1st, 2023. That's 81% of the employment candidates that they've hired. So a big shout out to that department. Additionally, we transitioned with our total rewards package, and in particular our insurance plan, and they successfully migrated 500 plus benefit eligible employees and their dependents to our new medical, dental, and FSA vendors. In reference to their personnel actions, these are actions that are done daily in an HR office. They've processed 3,280 personnel actions pertaining to demographic information as it relates to our employees, so on and so forth. Also, the Department of Human Resources is the Department of Collaboration. So they've had a lot of engagement and collaborative activities that they've worked with not only internal stakeholders, but external stakeholders as well. Some of them are as follows. Our annual Biggest Loser competition, we had 50 participants. They implemented an inaugural annual Employee Appreciation Day where we had 500 plus participants. They performed 2 vital health cardiovascular screening events where we had 142 participants. They had the Public Service Recognition Week where we had 750 plus participants over the course of a 5-day event programming. They had health and wellness safety fairs with 279 participants. And we've also had an opportunity to have on-site dental treatment for our employees where we had 42 participants. And they also helped facilitate the 2nd annual Chairman's Cornhole Tournament, which had 100 participants. Parks and Recreation, led by our Director Dwayne Mass, they have an opportunity to touch the citizens, and they touch our young people as well as our adult people. And some of the highlights from the work that they do are as follows. Spring sports, we've had nearly 1,500 youth participants. We've had we had 15 softball teams for the adult participants and 4 co-ed kickball teams. We've had fishing events for youth where 138 participated. We've had fall sporting events for youth participants where we've had over 1,000 youth participate. And we've also had adults participate in fall sporting events where there was 10 teams registered and it's still ongoing. We've had wildlife initiatives through this department. 168 youth participated. We also have done rentals to the community. We've rented out our pavilions and our banquet room where we've had 93 rentals as it pertains to the pavilion and 90 as it pertains to the banquet room. We've had our splash pad initiatives. There was an average of 113 visitors a day at the splash pad. Over 8,000 participants used the splash pad over the course of the summer. And at Turner Lake, we've had a total of 62,068 visitors. That's a monthly average of just under 7,800 visitors a month, a daily average of 302 visitors. Some of the completed and ongoing and upcoming and special events and accomplishments from Parks and Recs are as follows. The completed projects, the LED lights installed at Turner Lake, the LED lights installed at City Pond Park, the new concession and restroom facility at Stone Road Park, the 9-hole disc golf installed at Beaver Park, ongoing projects, Spring Hill Park, Southside Park, Community Water Park, Westside Park, and field renovations at City Pond Park and Turner Lake Park. Upcoming events, fishing at City Pond, September 30th, Fall Festival, November 4th at City Pond, Evening with Santa, December 7th at Turner Lake. Special events, first annual HBCU Classic at Turner Lake Park. Really excited about that. February 16th through the 18th, 2024. And also very excited about the Miracle League All-Star Weekend, October 4th through 6th, 2024 at City Pond Park. Special accomplishments. Our 6U All-Star baseball team won the World Series in Gulfport, Mississippi. Our 10U All-Star baseball team won the World Series in Gulfport, Mississippi as well. Risk management, which is a workforce unit within Human Resources led by Ms. Pam Maxwell. This unit has updated the emergency action plan for the administration building, the judicial center, and historical courthouse. They've held quarterly safety committee meetings. 219 employees have participated in online safety training on the following topics of sexual harassment, slip, trip, and fall training, common fire and life safety hazards, basics of defensive driving, emergency procedures, and employee safety orientation. This workforce unit has also applied for a grant through ACCG. Senior services, our most valued population in this community, led by Ms. Frida Reed, our director. Accomplishments for the month of July, and then a snapshot of what they've done thus far for the year are as follows. 24 registrations were completed in the month of July. There was 1,144 meals served on site and 1,794 meals delivered to seniors at their homes. There was 205 participants for daily activities and meals during this time. There were 175 seniors who participated in our Farmers Market initiative that was held on July 25th. There were 45 seniors transported to the Porter Sanford Performing Arts Center, located in DeKalb County on July 28th. And a snapshot for the entire year is as follows. We've registered 242 seniors this year. 128 of them were renewals, 114 were new memberships. The meals served on site prepared was about 8,300 and nearly 12,000 meals delivered. And there are currently 382 seniors actively on the roll. Here's a snapshot of the different initiatives offered by our senior services. As I stated before, the meals, the on-site breakfast, on-site lunch, home-delivered meals. Activities, there's about 7 wellness activities that our seniors can participate in, from a general exercise class to pickleball. There's an arts and crafts initiative for them where they can do general arts class or quilting, so on and so forth. We have workshops for our seniors, jewelry making, floral arrangements, wood decorating, card making, just to name a few. There are educational classes offered. in particular computer classes, basic and advanced, kinship care. There's drama, there's choir, there's nutritional lunch and learns for them as well. At their leisure, they can play bingo. They often go shopping around town and play the various table games at the center. In terms of travel, they do have the opportunity to participate in day trips as well as overnight trips. Transportation to and from the senior center only is offered by us as well. And then they have their own internal clubs that they participate in, such as Red Hat, Pizzazz Travel Club, Walking Club, Great and Grand, Voices of Wisdom. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special thank you to our public safety, public works departments. As you all know, the horrific event that occurred on August 25th when there was a fire at Covington Square, this community worked in unity and solidarity and togetherness. And while it was a city of Covington fire per se, Newton County Fire Department sent 11 pieces of equipment, including 4 engines, 2 ladders, 1 squad, 1 air and light unit, 3 chief vehicles, and 21 personnel. And I want to acknowledge the personnel from the fire department, public works, and EMA. They are as follows: Lieutenant Scott Lester, fire apparatus operator Caleb Compton, FAO Justin Wagstaff, Captain Richard Herring, FAO Eric Gardner, firefighter Justin Haney, firefighter Walter Wilson, Lieutenant Terry Parton, FAO Michael Bates, firefighter Jamari Board, Lieutenant Todd Crumless, FAO Keith Bokhalt, firefighter Matthew Roberts, FAO Travis Swartz, firefighter Cody Matson, firefighter Cody Cullen, Battalion Chief Trey Stewart, Deputy Chief Brad Stape, Deputy Chief Darrell Mosley, Lieutenant Donald Bowen, FAO Kevin Somerville, and last but not least, our Fire Chief Mike Connor. From Public Works, our Public Works Director, Mr. Chris Malcolm, Lacey Hall, Greg Pace, Matt Couric, Robert Hayes. And finally, our interim EMA Director, Ms. Wendy Patterson. So at this time, if you are a member of any of the departments that I just identified, please stand at this time. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, any questions? Thank you. Next on the agenda is old business. We have none. The consent agenda. I seek a motion that we approve the consent agenda, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 4-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda is item number 10, District 3 Commissioner appealing the denial for county funding to, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Items for discussion and consideration are items number 10. District 3 Commissioner is appealing the denial for county funding to travel to the National Organization of Black County Officials Conference, also known as NOBCO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to give you a little backstory, recently we changed the travel policy in July. My appeal, my request to attend this conference and also to have my dues paid for GABCO was submitted in July of 2022. And the policy was changed in July of 2023, and that's why we are here now. So just to give you, just to actually update the agenda item, it says Commissioner Sanders requesting funding from the county, But as you see, we have a training and travel budget. So it's not as I am trying to get additional funding out of the general fund. There is funding that's set aside for training and travel. As you can see in 2021, these numbers came from our finance director. In 2021 and 2022, we have a travel budget of $25,000. That's when I first came in, and only one commissioner at that time per our county manager was traveling. And they also, when I had wanted to attend a convention, I was told no. And so I asked the question, how can you allow only one commissioner to travel and not all? And so at that time, our law firm said that's discriminatory. And so the following year, because they knew that another commissioner on the board wanted to also get education travel as well, the county manager increased the budget to $44,000 so that other commissioners can also go to training and travel. And in 2023, 2024, which I questioned, it went down to $31,000, which also sparked my interest because when I asked in 2022 to attend the National Association of Black County Officials, I was told we didn't have any funding and our budget was $25,000. In actuality, it was $44,000. So we did have funding. So that kind of sparked my interest when I actually was doing this PowerPoint because there was contradictions there as well. Just to give you some back of GABCO, this Georgia Association of Black County Officials. This came from the website. So let me put a disclaimer out there. There will be individuals' names mentioned due to the appeal and the Oprah records that I did. It's not personal, it's just that I'm providing detailed information. So myself and Commissioner Mason are vice president of the Georgia Association of Black County Officials. And how that came to be, we ran for that position, and our colleagues could decide on who they wanted to select as vice president. So at that moment, it was like, we'll just have a first and second vice president. So I stepped up and said, I'll take second, and since Commissioner Mason was on the board longer than I said he can have this, he should take the first as a courtesy. So as the Georgia Association of Black County Officials, an advocate on behalf of the Georgians living and working in underserved communities throughout Georgia, and we're also in regards to people of color and underserved citizens of Georgia in matter of health, welfare, education, social, criminal justice, employment, economic empowerment. In addition, Newton County currently supports the Georgia Association of Black County Officials. Remember I said in July 2022, I asked for my dues to be paid. And the county, when Ms. Jackie did an open record, when I did the open records, Ms. Jackie did research, she thought that was my dues. But come to find out, it was the dues of the chairman that was paid. And it was also paid in July 2022 and also updated for this year in December 2022. Again, there are two commissioners that sits right here in front of you that is on the board, that we are on the board of directors for the Georgia Association of Black County Officials as vice presidents. NABCO and NABCO. NABCO is a nonprofit. NABCO is the actual organization that is the national level of Black county officials. And as you can see, this organization has been in existence since 1982. There are African American Black officials across the United States and counties that support this organization. It serves over 3,000 Black elected and appointed county officials across America. They are local decision-making policies that act by county officials either support or detract from a community attempts to create a sustainable economy and environment. Now, they are affiliates of the National Association of Black County Officials. I'm gonna show you the open records that I actually did to explain the difference. I am also a member of the Women of NACO. There's also the Hispanic organization that's affiliates of NACO. There's also Next Gen, where I'm the chair. NACO assisted with those organizations because they do not tackle those issues. If you're not about in that culture, you're not going to tackle those issues. So it makes sense to create them and have those who of that culture to bring those issues to the main organization. That's why they exist. Georgia County support NABCO. As you can see, who's on the board of directors? We have the chair of Rockdale County. We have Fulton County Honorable Marvin Arrington, also Esquire. We have the Honorable Natalie Hall. And we have our past national president of the National Association of Counties, the Honorable Larry Johnson. This is just a short list of the few counties that support. In the Atlanta metro area, Clayton County, Cobb County, DeKalb County, Douglas, Fulton, Gwinnett, Henry, Jasper County, and Rockdale. The 37th annual conference, and the reason why I want to make sure I explain why that picture is up there, that's the front page of NABCO. And so that is an amazing picture. So Commissioner Mason, you might want to ask them to give you a copy of that. That picture is amazing. So they place our Newton County official on the front page of the National Association of Black County Officials. That lets you know we participate and we actually go to the meetings. The conference was supposed to be held in June. It was going to be in Florida. They moved it out of Florida because the NAACP sent out an advisory saying it wasn't safe for African Americans to travel there due to the leadership and what was going on at that time. So the elected officials pulled it from Florida and moved it to North Carolina, which moved it to October. The travel budget is shared. That we have the budget that I showed you in the beginning, that $44,000, $25,000, and $31,000 is not just the Board of Commissioners using that budget. That budget is for staff, the commissioners, and all those who assist of the Board of Commissioners. So all those individuals are utilizing that one pot. So it is not going just to the Board of Commissioners. So it moved to October 18th, October 22nd. So when I asked in July, and I asked again in September, I was told the budget was exhausted. So now we're in a fiscal year. I asked again because they moved the conference to October. And so I received no responses. I received no responses for a whole entire year. This is the outline of how I was received asking to attend this conference. I asked in July 2022, no response. I also asked again, July, I kept on going all the way down. It shows you how many emails I had to send just for somebody to respond to me and say, Commissioner Sanders, you can attend. You can go. We have the money in the finance budget. The travel budget has been the same for years in Newton County. But all of a sudden, since Commissioner Sanders asked to attend this conference, it changed. And I had to wait until the policy changed in July of 2023 to get a decision, and now the policy that it goes to the chair of the board to decide if you can travel to go to a conference. It has not been like that for years until I asked. As you can see, July 27th, I prompt to send conference fees link again because I was asked in July of 2027, July 27th this year, Commissioner Sanders, send it to us again so we can take care of it. July 28th, Finance Director indicated forwarding the link to the chairman for review. I still hadn't heard a response. August 3rd, I did a follow-up to the chairman concerning impending conference and deadlines. No response. August 10th, another follow-up proposed agenda item due to the chairman lack of response. No response. August 14th, I sent another letter. No response. When I came here August 5th asking for it to be placed on the board, it's because I didn't receive a response for almost a year. That has been a behavior pattern for me. I don't say much about that specific area, but that has been the pattern. I have been trying to keep it in-house. But because we are here, that's why you see me appealing this. Document requested from the county attorney. So in July, I received an email from our county clerk who stated that, Commissioner Sanders, we can't give you a response right now because suggestion of the county attorney is to change the policy. So I had to wait until it was brought before the board, changed, and stating that the chair of the county now has decided on whether commissioners can travel to conventions. Who the county supports financially? And president and fellowship of Harvard College and University. We've had individuals get certificates from Harvard. Georgia Association of Black County Officials, Kiwanis Club, Rotary Club, but Georgia Municipal Association, International City Management Association, Newton County Chamber of Commerce. We used to support the Atlanta Black Chambers, but this year, for some strange reason, it's no longer on the list. American Planning Association, National Association of Counties, County Clerks Association, Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, Northeast Georgia Region, Georgia Government Communicates Conference. That's just a short list. Open records based on the county attorney's statement. The county attorney stated that we only support, and it's in the email. I know we have to go, and I can come back to, if we have to go to that, I can come back and finish. Thank you. We have to go to zoning, and I'll come back.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Chairman and Board. We ready? All right. All right, our first case this evening is a conditional use permit. Case number is CUP 23-000003. The proposed use is for recreational youth camp. Current zoning is agricultural. It's located in the South River watershed, and it's at 350 and 360 Butler Bridge Road. Parcel size is 315.29 acres, and the tax ID is 0003 001 and 0002040. This is located in Commission District 2. Current owner is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and our petitioner and representative today is Andrea Gray. And just a brief history, it was tabled at the June Planning Commission meeting for 60 days so that a community meeting can be held. This meeting was held in July 31st. It was done via Zoom. We had approximately 50 attendees, and there were no objections to the project during this meeting. And on 8/22, the Planning Commission recommended approval for this petition. And again, the applicant's intent is to do a recreational youth campground, and we already have the specs on the site. It's just over 300 acres located off of Butler Bridge Road. And based on the site plan that was submitted and the letter of intent, the existing homes, there are a couple of homes on the property in a barn, so the homes will be converted to an admin building and accommodations. And the campground reflects a low-density use, and they've proposed the following: to have 3 stay camp areas with pavilions, food prep, and a dining area, and the barn will be converted to gathering spaces. They also plan to have a rural amphitheater, and there are locations throughout the lot for primitive camping areas. This is where you can pitch your tent, and other facilities. And again, this is included in your packets. This is just the section for campsites and campground and recreational areas continued. And in conclusion, the camp will offer a variety of activities, including outdoor recreation, spiritual programs, and community outreach initiatives. And they also will provide facilities for overnight stays, and these will include the cabins, a campsite, and limited dormitories. If the use meets the standards as set forth in section 510-140, campground recreational vehicle RV park private, it should be approved. Staff recommends that should the board approve the conditional use to allow the recreational youth campground, that the approval will be made with the following recommended conditions. And should this petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved for a conditional use permit for a recreational youth campground, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. And where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. So 1, the campground shall include stay campsites, primitive camp locations, a rural amphitheater, limited dormitories and admin building, and barn converted for gatherings. 2, the current homes shall be converted to accommodations and administrative spaces. 3, improvements shall include straightening out the road and driveway at the entrance to the campground and parking areas as required by the ordinance. 4, activities in the rural amphitheater shall be limited from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. 5, approval and/or permits must be obtained from the following agencies as required: Development Services, Environmental Health, Newton County Transportation Department, Newton County Fire Marshal's Office, the Water Authority, and the GSWCC. And 6, all overnight camping activities shall be conducted at least 100 feet off of property boundary lines which adjoin the Barrington subdivision. And this is an aerial view of the location of the property off of Butler Bridge Road. Current zoning is agricultural. South River is located in the South River watershed. This is a survey that was provided by the applicant. This is a site plan, a conceptual site plan that was provided by the applicant, and you can see they have the campsites here, 3 locations. They've also identified areas for primitive camping out in the open. And of course, the amphitheater is in the center here. And then they're gonna have like parking and entrance along here, and admin buildings. And this is just a close-up of what each campsite would look like. They're kind of little pods with the multiple buildings and cabins. And of course, you have the food prep area in front here, and so on. This is the entrance to the road leading into it, which will require some improvement. As you can see, the Butler Bridge, the pavement stops just in front of this entrance, and the applicant has agreed to do the necessary improvements to accommodate the traffic that would come through to the campground. And these are just images of the property as provided by an applicant. So this is what the dining area would look like. This is the current open space on the area right now in the barn. And of course, an example of what the cabins will look like and an example of what the amphitheater would look like. So it's basically just benches that they have there. It's a rural amphitheater. And of course, the restroom facilities and the side plan as provided, showing the distance is from the boundaries. Oh, and that is it for staff. If there are any questions, if not, Chairman applicant is present.
Thank you. We're gonna open it up now. It is approximately 7:37. We're gonna open it up now for the applicant and those that want to speak in favor tonight. You have 10 minutes to do so. If you would, please come on up and state your name, your address for the record, please.
Good evening.
Good
My name
evening.
is Andrea Gray. I'm an attorney from Monroe, Georgia. And this evening I have the pleasure of representing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I've got a presentation here. If Ms. Shana could help me. Okay, got me? Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Well, it's a pleasure to be here before you tonight. Again, I represent the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and their request for a conditional use permit for a recreational youth church camp. Ms. Shana went through the history with you. We started back at the Planning Commission in June. We did have the opportunity to have a community meeting. We made an effort to reach out to the community to get as many participants as we could. We put flyers out on 300 mailboxes in the area, and we did get about 50 people to attend that meeting. And so that was a nice opportunity to reach out to the local community about the project. In August, we did get approval from the Planning Commission. Through all of these meetings, we've had no opposition expressed against the project, and we're hoping for an approval here as well. As Ms. Shana showed you, the property is about 321 acres. The church purchased this back in December of 2022 with the intent of building out this camp. It is currently zoned agricultural, and as she showed, it does front on Butler Bridge Road. The property here is absolutely beautiful. These are pictures I took, I guess, back in June. Beautiful rolling pastures, mix of hardwood forest. There are a few structures. There's a barn and an access road currently on the property. The mission and purpose for this camp, again, it is a church camp. It's a place for youth to connect with one another, to connect with nature, to learn about God, to experience fellowship, and to have a lot of fun with outdoor recreational opportunities. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has these camps all across the country and different states. This will be the first one in Georgia, and it'll service a number of states, and that's groupings of churches in the state of Georgia. Here's the site plan that Ms. Shana showed before. Again, there's a mix of recreational outdoor activities that'll occur. There's opportunity for water sports in a small pond and on the river frontage. There's areas for primitive camping, which is where you would pitch a tent. And then there's the, it's hard to see because of the timer there, but there's the stake and ward. So stake is a grouping of wards. There's 10 wards per stake, and in each of the wards there's groupings of campsites, primitive cooking area, a place for the kids to gather, and then the overall stake has a central gathering place and then restroom facilities to service those camping areas as well. You can see on the site plan as well that the road will be improved such that where it intersects with Butler Bridge, it'll be more of a 90-degree angle there to make that safer for emergency vehicles and for visitors. And then we'll use the existing chip and tar road to access the interior of the site. Go. Here's representation, pictures of the ward dining shelter area. You can see it's a primitive structure, just enough to serve the kids that'll be staying in that camping area there. The cabins, the design of the cabins vary from camp to camp, but here you can see they're just wooden structures. The intent is to clear as little trees as possible and to nestle these camping areas into the existing landscape. It's a very, very passive use. But here you can see, again, 2 representative cabin types, and then the fire pit area for those campsites. Here's a representative picture of the Ward camping area and fire pit. Again, if you were thinking commercial kitchen, think again. It's a little bit more of a campfire cooking setup here for the kids to reconnect with nature. You know, no technology and just a rare opportunity in today's world to disconnect. Here's a picture of the amphitheater, and again, the church does these camps all over the country, and they use the same pattern book, if you will, for how to build them. And the requirements for these amphitheaters is that they be wooden structures, that they not be concrete, that they be, you know, integrated in the natural setting that they're in. Same here. Here's a different amphitheater representation with a pavilion amphitheater combination, but again, you know, terraced wooden benches, you know, for their amphitheater there. Here's a representative photo of the restrooms. Again, 3 per stake to service the camping in that area. And a little bit hard to see here, but you can see in the green, I've labeled off the distances between the camping area closest to the adjoining properties. Mr. Ship, whose family sold this property to the church, he lives to the north. He's the 500-foot distance. He has purposely chosen to locate his home there because he wants to be next to the camp. The next closest distance is the neighborhood, which is over 1,000 feet away, and then the road entrance is about 1,200 feet away from that first camping area. The camp will be primarily used seasonally in the summer. That's when children will come for a week at a time, and so we don't expect significant traffic except for, you know, the day that they come and the day that they leave, but from a day-to-day basis, there should not be a lot of traffic coming and going from the area. We're happy to comply with the noise ordinance. The 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. time frame works great for us as well. And again, we've agreed to straighten out that road intersection to be more of a 90-degree angle for safety purposes at the entrance. The conditions that were approved by the Planning Commission, we're perfectly happy with these, happy to comply. We think they make, you know, a lot of sense and are things that we were going to do anyway. And so Ms. Shana read these off. I will not read those through with you again. But, you know, in wrapping up, we request approval of our conditional use permit subject to these 6 conditions. I'm joined here tonight by our architect and by the camp manager, and collectively we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. If any questions, they'll call you back up. Thank you so much. Anyone else would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else would like to speak in favor? We up that portion of our, you got somebody coming? Please state your name and your address for the record, please.
I'm David Ship. Our family had property, and as was stated, I'm building a house right on the northern side. I'm the largest landowner on the northern side. I have 40 acres there, and look forward to having them as a neighbor. It's a great opportunity for the community and everyone in the community to have a place to camp, and it will be a great opportunity. I just didn't want to let the time go. I'd like to say that it will be great to have them as neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else would like to speak in favor tonight? Would anyone else like to speak in favor tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that would like to abstain tonight, or oppose tonight, I'm sorry. Is there anyone who would like to oppose tonight? Is there anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Is there anyone that would like to oppose tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. Ms. Shana? I think this is in District 2. Commissioner Mason?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I actually make my motion, thank you, Attorney Gray, for your presentation. Thank you, Mr. Ship, for your acknowledgments of this particular project as well. Where this is actually located, I think this will be a great place to kind of begin to develop this particular area. that area back there has kind of been slightly desolate. And I think this will add some additional development, some excitement to the actual area. And so thank you for wanting to bring this to our community. I think it'll be a great asset. And so, Mr. Chair, with that being said, I'd like to make a motion that we approve CUP 23-000003 with the conditions that were stated.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second? It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. C. Look at Ms. Gray. I remember back when I was a child, and I used to go into the Boy Scout camp, and we would cook on the fire and sang around the campfire, and did a whole lot of stuff that I really enjoyed, and I still remember to this very day. And I just want to also, same as Commissioner Mason, thank the church as well. And I also thank you, Ms. Gray, for just really coming up as you always have in all the years that I've known you. Just be a very great attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sanders.
I just want to commend you for providing something for the youth. This is something that's definitely needed in our county. So I just want to say to you and the church to thank you so much for providing activity and recreation for the youth of Newton County and also for the youth of a part of your church. Thank you.
All in favor? It passes 4-0. Thank you so much. Ms. Shana.
Thank you, Chairman. Our next case this evening is a rezoning. It is REZ 23-000008. It's located at Highway 81 and Highway 212 on 16.44 acres. The tax ID number is 0019013A. The existing land use map or flume is commercial and PRC, which is Parks, Recreation, Conservation. The current zoning, it is dual zoned. It's neighborhood commercial as well as agricultural residential. The proposed zoning is general commercial, so they'd like to rezone the entire thing to general commercial. It is in the South River watershed. This is in Commission District 1. The current owner is Medford D. Blissett Jr. and Landon W. Jameson. And our petitioner is Stephanie Lopez. And just a brief history, the Planning Commission recommended approval on August 22nd, 2023. And the applicant's intent is to rezone the property to general commercial in order to locate a landscaping business. And as previously mentioned, the site is 16.44 acres and currently has the two zonings, CN and AR, and it's off of Highway 81 and the north side of Highway 212. It is currently undeveloped, and the road frontage on Highway 212 is approximately 1,121 feet, and along Highway 81, it's approximately 552 feet. The character area it is located in, it's the emerging suburban, and this is included in your packets, so I wouldn't go through the entire thing. But this character area, it does support the commercial flume. It also supports the general commercial zoning that applicant is seeking. It is also in the community crossroads character area, which also supports the zoning that the applicant is seeking, which is general commercial. And the site plan that was submitted back in May 3rd, it does show that the property is located on two GDOT roads, or two highways. The plan also shows a 36 by 12 foot building for the office, and then they have bins for the mulch, the pine, and the straw, etc. And they're also planning to locate a nursery on the property. And this is just the definition from our ordinance of what the landscaping business is. And again, this is included in your packets, so I wouldn't read through that. And of course, we have the applicable section, which is section 510-365. Unless there are any questions, I won't read that out either. In conclusion, the proposed commercial use is consistent with the policies and intent of the emerging suburban and the community crossroads character areas, and with approved zonings in the area. And given the land use and the zoning designations of the surrounded properties, there is justification for approval of the proposed commercial zoning of general commercial. and recommended conditions. Should this petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved for a rezoning to the general commercial for a landscaping business, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. 1, to the owner's agreement to abide by the following development standards. A, provide satisfactory ingress and egress as approved by GDOT, and these improvements, they may include but are not limited to a left turn lane, deceleration lane, and acceleration lane, and or access to the adjoining property. B, submit appropriate plans or plats including a stormwater plan to be reviewed and approved by Development Services, Public Works, Newton County Fire Services, the Water Authority, GSWCC, and GDOT. C, all landscaping plans to be approved by the Department of Development Services. And D, adhere to requirements as stipulated in Section 510-365 landscaping business above. This is the location of the parcel. We have Highway 81 here and Highway 212 on this end here. And there is a gas station, I believe, right to the corner there. This is the current zoning map. As you can see, it is dual zone. So you've got the neighborhood commercial on this part and then the agricultural residential. And they are compatible zonings in the area. These are other commercial zonings. And down here this is industrial, M2 zoning. This is the future land use map. It shows that it's got the commercial flume as well as the parks and the rec. And this area here, there's a river here as well as floodplain and wetlands. So that's why it has that flume. But then you see the commercial flume is, compatible with the other parcels right at the junction there. It is in the South River watershed and Commissioner District 1. This is a survey that was submitted by the applicant. And this is a concept plan where it shows the various bins here. You have the nursery and you have the bins for pine straw, mulch, and so on. Then you have the admin building here. And GDOT has given a preliminary, they're working on having the entrance come off of just Highway 81 at this time. And if there are any questions for staff, if not, I believe the applicant is here. Okay.
We're going to go ahead and open it up for the applicant. For the applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight, you may come at this time. You have 10 minutes to do so. Please state your name, your address for the record, please. The applicant and those that want to speak in favor. Good evening.
Good evening. Excuse me. My name is Tammy Prieto, and I'm here tonight for Stephanie Lopez. She is my client. I am the broker of Silver Oaks Realty, and I'm the one that's selling her this property. They are working very diligently right now with Georgia Civil. You might know them, Jason Brown. They have retained their services. I did speak with Mr. Brown before coming to the meeting this evening. They do have the updated survey completed. However, they did not give me a copy of it tonight because they just were able to get utility locations done last week, Thursday. So they're adding those to the survey. They also will have all the land disturbance permits, the site plans, and everything else that Ms. Applewhite has suggested that we need. Also, too, I personally have been in touch with GDOT because I have been working on this parcel of property for 6 years to find the perfect buyer. As Ms. Applewhite did state, it is partly commercial and it's partly agriculture. There's a big section of this property that will never be developed because of the water, the watershed, so on and so forth, and my clients perfectly are aware of that. There's a small portion that will be used. GDOT, Monica Fogel, who is a director there, and Kendrick Collins, both have given us some approval based on ingress and egress. We will not be adding a driveway on the 212 side because of site distance. We will only be coming in and out of Highway 81, and we are perfectly fine with that. There will be an occasional 18-wheeler truck that will need to come into this facility. They do a lot of heavy moving of earth. They own this landscape company. They've been in business for 20 years. They do huge clearings for people like D.R. Horton. They know exactly what they're doing. It will be absolutely upscale and very tidy. It will not be an eyesore to the community at that intersection. as they are also residents of a horse farm on Highway 212. So they have a lot of pride in Newton County. I don't know if there's anything else that you need to know about the project. They're just pretty excited about having this piece of parcel land work, since they tried a couple years ago on another piece of land that was on Salem, no, not Salem Road, but the intersection of 20, and it just wasn't going to work with traffic flow, so this is more appealing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that would like to oppose tonight. You have 10 minutes to do so. If you would, please come and state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone would like to oppose tonight? Anyone would like to oppose tonight? Anyone would like to oppose tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. Mr. Applewhite, please. I think this is in District 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would we need to make a motion and a second and then discussion, or can I ask Judy a question now?
Need to make a motion, please.
Okay. So moved.
What's the motion to approve?
Motion to approve
Okay.
Conditions?
with the recommended conditions.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Applewhite, so this is 16 plus acres. What, could this be subdivided in any other business that falls in this zoning requirement be moved in here as well? Or is this, are we locked into one client here on this piece of property?
We do not have a condition of zoning specifying that is just for landscaping at this time. The board could certainly add that. And in addition, in reference, if it could be subdivided, if it were approved to commercial zoning, each new lot would only require 100 feet of road frontage to be subdivided out. So they've got at least 1,000 feet on one road and 500 on the other. So that would, it is possible, according to what the ordinance allows, that it could be further subdivided.
So if I wanted to make this a single client, Counselor, we would simply add that to the motion, or amend the motion, is that correct?
Yes, you'd have to amend the motion to add an additional condition that says something along the line, the property shall be used for the landscaping business as proposed by the applicant, and no other purpose.
Single applicant.
The single applicant, yes.
Are you amending your motion for that?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to amend my motion to reflect the comments of the county attorney.
Is there still a second on the floor?
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. C. Commissioner Edward, since you changed it, would she still, or the applicant, would they still want it to be changed for just one singer, or would she just rather be? I'm asking because you changed it, and was there a prior discussion with them, with the applicant?
Shane, you want to confer with her, please? Do you want to confer with her?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
That's it. Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor? It passes 4-0. Thank you. Ms. Applewhite.
Thank you, Chairman. Our next petition this evening is a future land use amendment. It is FLU 23-00006. The existing land use map is currently rural residential, and the proposed land use map is commercial. It is currently zoned A, agricultural residential, and it's in the Yellow River watershed. It is located at 43 Dry Pond Road. The tax ID number is 0051018D, and it's on 17.57 acres. The character area is emerging suburban, located in District 1, And the owners are Kenneth and Andrea Batchelor. The Planning Commission had a motion to approve, and this motion failed by a vote of 1 to approve and 4 to not approve it. And the applicant's intent is to designate the future land use of the 17.57 acres to commercial in order to seek a rezoning of the property for mini warehouses. And again, just as a summary, it's currently rural residential, and they are requesting to go to commercial. And this is in the character areas, emerging suburban, which does support a commercial use, supports the commercial uses. And I won't read through that, this is in your packets. It also supports, up here, see the commercial flume, it supports that, as well as the commercial zonings. And in conclusion, the 17.57 acres is currently undeveloped, and pursuant to the emerging suburban character areas appropriate land uses, commercial is an appropriate request. It is compatible with similar uses to the north and west of the property, and should the board decide to approve this, staff is of the opinion that the future land use amendment may be appropriate in this area. Because this is a flume, there are no conditions at this time, this is just a tool. But should the board approve it, it will come back before you for the rezoning, at which time conditions can be added. So this is an aerial view of the property. It's a bit of an odd shape. This is our zoning map, so it is currently zoned AR. So you've got commercial zoning just over the road, opposite it, and you've got commercial zonings of the junction here of Dry Pond and 212. And these are all commercial zonings up here as well. We have agricultural, residential, and A zonings. So there's a cluster of non-residential zonings in the area. This is the future land use map. This is currently mixed use development up here in the yellow, residential, commercial in the red. This is public utilities in the blue, and over here is just rural residential. It is located in the Yellow River watershed. This is a survey that was submitted by the applicant showing the parcel here. This is a concept plan that was submitted. They will be required to have a 150-foot perimeter buffer undisturbed around the entire property, and they are showing it here. The entrance is currently showing off of Dry Pond Road here. But at the Planning Commission, there was discussion of if it can come off of Highway 212, and the applicant was fine with that. And they're showing, proposed locations of the mini warehouses. And if there are any questions, this is a public hearing, Chairman.
Thank you. We're going to open it up now for our public hearing. The applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight, you have 10 minutes to do so. If you would, please come at this time, state your name, your address for the record, please. The applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight. I'm sorry? I'm sorry? Okay, I'm gonna ask one more time. The applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight. That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that would like to oppose tonight. You may come at this time. You have 10 minutes to do so. Please state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone would like to oppose tonight? Please state your name and your address for the record, please.
John Dobbs. I live on 211 Dry Pond Road. The road we live on, it corners at 212. One end hits 212, the other end hits 212. It's just a shortcut around, dog leg round. One end's already got storage buildings. The man who owns the storage buildings up at the top end, up there by the new Dollar General, has got 10 acres. He don't want to put any more storage in there, storage buildings in there, because he's going to have to run another fire hydrant. We don't need another set of storage buildings at the other end of our road in the housing area. There's a lot of houses there's 3 houses gonna be in front of it. There's 4 houses gonna go walk out their back door, turn around, and all they're gonna see is a mini storage. They ain't gonna see no woods. The undeveloped land is owned by the state of Georgia to put their concrete barriers and stuff in. So state ain't gonna give up their property. This guy already done said he was gonna have a 150-foot buffer. Well, I don't walk back there, because there's not a fence all the way around the property. He's already cut a road back there, big enough for 2 trucks to go through. He didn't even get a permit for it. There's a 2-lane road back there. We don't need any more storage, and if Newton County, if y'all let this guy build a storage unit, then y'all need to get your checkbook out, because there's going to be a serious wreck there on 212 at the other end of Dry Pond Road. Have the county coroner come out there every day, because somebody's going to end up getting killed there. And I hope it ain't one of my grandkids, because if it is, Newton County ain't got enough money in the bank for me. I'm telling you that just let you know. Not only me, there's a whole bunch of other people back there who don't want these storage buildings.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else that would like to oppose tonight? Please state your name and your address for the record, please. Hello, good evening.
My name is Kathy Ledford. I live on 12 Dry Pond Road. I live directly across the street from this piece of property. I would like to ask how many of you would want to live across the street from many warehouses, to step out your door and see them every morning? How many of you would want anything commercial across the street or in your neighborhood? Another question, how many of you have been in our neighborhood? If you have, you know there are 2 storage facilities less than a mile from us, and 1 2 miles off of 212 and 36. This is not something we want, nor do we need. All of you are here to listen to us, and we as a community are speaking very loudly. We do not want this property to be rezoned to commercial. And after listening to us, you still vote yes for this? You're saying loud and clear, you are not here for the communities of Newton County. I'm asking you to please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak in opposition tonight? Please state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name's John Davis. I live at 113 Dry Pond Road. My property literally abuts right up to it. I made some copies, but not enough for everyone. I'm sorry. I would just like to point out that this property...
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'd just like to point out this property, lot 43, was previously listed on MLS as, I quote, "Are you looking for a perfect place to build your dream home?" by the petitioner that's trying to have it done commercial now. I'm not sure why it didn't sell. Probably conditions weren't right at that time. But the statement that the gentleman in the previous meeting at the Planning Commission stated that it wasn't a good area for residential. Well, someone needs to explain that to the 7 homes that abut up to this property. And quite frankly, these are all homes. I understand, ladies and gentlemen, you haven't been out there, but it's a pretty tight community we have, good people. We've all raised children out there. The idea of this being commercial doesn't make any sense, because it would make an ideal place. It could be divided into several lots. I don't understand the need for another mini storage, like my neighbors. There's already several within a couple miles. We spoke to the gentleman that owns the one on the other end of the road this morning, and he stated they have units available, and he has not added to what he could add another 10 acres of units. He's not doing so because he can't keep the ones he has full. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to oppose tonight? Anyone else that would like to oppose tonight?
Hey, I'm Brenda Edwards. I live at 118 Dry Pond Road, right across from the warehouses here. And if you look at that picture, I noticed that where our homes are does not have that 150-foot buffer that's in that picture there. And I don't understand why they would even consider this one when you know everything is residential there. I mean, everybody moved there. Everybody's lots are 1 to 4 acres. We're not looking for many warehouses or anything else that's commercial. This is the country, and we want to keep it that way. Now, if you'll notice, these other two places, they picked places where they would actually fit in to be zoned. This doesn't fit into where it's at. All it's going to be in our front yard and backyards. John's going to have it on both sides of his, if you look at that, his side of his house and the back. Right now, I have woods in front of me, beside me, behind me, and you could build a house between me and my neighbor. We don't need many warehouses. And like they were saying, the other many warehouses, they're at the other end of the street. They're with the gas stations. Everybody's putting everything together that is commercial. You know, you don't come and put it in the neighborhood. And we don't want the lights, and we don't want the security that's going to come with it, and the barbed wire, and the theft that comes with these. I've been reading up on that. They'll even go into there, rent a unit, climb over, steal, and it's just not going to fit in, is the bottom line. Me or none of the neighbors actually want this, and it's not welcome. And where they were talking about wrecks is when you come across here and the lady that has the house on the corner, you actually come around a curve when you come up to this area right here. And they have already seen too many wrecks and bad news, you know, I guess is the way to say it. But that's why they're afraid of that, because you actually have a blind curve when you come around there. So anyway, we would appreciate you turning this down. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else tonight would like to oppose? Anyone else would like to oppose? Please state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Christy Morgan. I live at 1467 Picket Bridge Road, and that's right next to the street, Dry Pond Road. And we've been there for 20 years. We just had our road paved, and it's really enhanced our property. And you know, I can't tell you how many times I turn right to go up to 162, and I see the mini warehouse and the filling stations, and I'm thinking, I'm glad it's that far away from me. It is an eyesore. And to think that a mini warehouse would come into our subdivision, to me, if I was gonna buy a piece of property that had a mini warehouse in their subdivision, I would say, no, thank you. I don't care how nice the house is. I don't want that eyesore here. I pray that you would have empathy on us, have mercy on us, and not approve this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? That portion of our public hearing is closed. Ms. Applewhite. I think this is in District 1 also. Commissioner Edwards.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I think what I'm going to ask is that we table this for a period of 30 days so I can understand the zoning, the planning commission's hesitancy. My understanding was that the planning commission approved this, but my wires got crossed and it appears they did not. So
Hey.
that's what I said.
Hey,
Jesus
hey,
Christ.
hey, guys, we're not finna. Listen,
So,
listen, time out. So make sure everybody understand, we're not doing that tonight. Commissioner Edwards, you got a question for?
I do not. I want to table this for a period of 30 days until I can understand what happened with Planning Commission.
Okay.
Thank you,
Chairman,
Mr.
if I
Chair. That's
may.
my motion.
Chairman and Commissioner, yeah, okay. Yes, Chairman and Commissioner Edwards, we would have to actually table it for 60 days because we have to advertise it 30 days in advance.
Okay, motion to table for a period of 60 days.
Okay. It's been a motion by Commissioner Edwards that we table this for 60 days. Is there a second?
Second.
Been motion by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, C. You know, I really don't see no reason why we should table it. The people in the community, they don't want it. So why are we on table? Just go ahead and vote to deny it. Thank you, C.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. So I'm gonna go with the district commissioner and give him an opportunity to get information about this. So I'm gonna motion to table. It come back before the board in 60 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Next.
Our next petition this evening is a rezoning case. It is REZ 23-000013. It does have a companion case, VAR 23-00007, which will go before the Board of Zoning Appeals in September. The location is 2601 Access Road. It is on 24 acres. Tax ID is 0025028. The existing land use map is development node and the PRC, Parks, Rec, and Conservation. And the existing zoning is R2, single family residential, and in the Almond Overlay Tier 2, which is a non-residential tier. The proposed zoning is M1, light industrial. It is located in the Yellow River watershed. The character areas are the live-work corridor and the established suburban core character area. It is in Commission District 3. The current owner is Robert Dobbs Cowan, and our petitioner tonight is Mr. John Nix. History, the Planning Commission voted on August 22nd to deny this petition. The applicant's intent is to locate an industrial warehouse. And again, the site is 24 acres, zoned R2, and in the Almond Overlay. And it's located on the south side of the access road. It is currently undeveloped. There are streams and floodplains located along the southern boundary of the property. It is adjacent to 105 Pinion Road, which is also undeveloped with the stream and floodplain. And the 105 Pinion Road is in the Chamisa Industrial Park. An applicant plans to combine these two lots to accommodate the proposed warehouse. So the site plan that was submitted on May 22nd, the development services, the following considerations were made. So the parcel will be combined with 105 Pinion Road, which is already zoned M1, in order to locate the warehouse. And the proposed warehouse building is approximately 267,000 square feet with ingress and egress on the access road. And there are 51 truck parking spaces proposed, these are tractor trailers, and 150 car parking spaces proposed. And the proposed location of the building, it meets the required impervious buffer from the stream of 150 feet. A variance will be required, however, to reduce the buffer adjacent to 2707 Access Road, which is the old forestry building that the county currently owns, due to the topography and the property, and we'll get into that a little later. And development in the area reflects the land use plan and is consistent with the applicant's request. So the applicant also submitted a traffic study, and the summary was included in your packets. It was expected to generate a total of 462 daily trips, with 56 trips occurring during the AM peak hours, 43 inbound and 13 outbound, and 59 trips occurring during the afternoon peak hour, 17 inbound and 42 outbound. And it does also identify areas that they will need improvement, namely at the Crowell Road and Fairview Road Junction, as well as the I-20 junction further up. And they also proposed, solutions that could alleviate any issues there. And again, I believe the full copy the full copy was included with your packets. And again, it's in the character area, live work, which supports the zoning that they are seeking. And it's also in the established suburban core character area, which also supports the industrial zoning that they are seeking. And in conclusion, the proposed industrial use is consistent with the policies and intent of the live, work, and the established suburban core character areas, and with approved zonings in the area. The property abuts the Chamisa Industrial Park with similar uses to that proposed by the applicant. And given the land use and zoning designations of the surrounding properties, there is justification for approval of the proposed industrial zoning. Recommended conditions. Should this petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved for a rezoning to light industrial M1 for a warehouse, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. 1, to the owner's agreement to abide by the following development standards. A, provide satisfactory ingress and egress as approved by GDOT, and improvements may include but are not limited to left turn lane, deceleration lane, acceleration lane, and or access to adjoining property. B, submit the appropriate stormwater plan to be reviewed by Development Services, Public Works, the Fire Department, the Water Authority, GSWCC, this is Georgia Soil and Water, as well as GDOT. C, a 75-foot undisturbed buffer must be maintained along boundaries with residential or zoning or uses. And D, a variance must be obtained to reduce the buffers adjacent to 2707 access road. So this is the parcel we're looking at here. Right here is the Chamisa Industrial Park. We've got Lidl over here. And then we've got commercial zonings on the other side here. And you'll see it more in the zoning map. So the gray area is the Chamisa Business Park and Lidl, and across I-20, these are all industrial zonings. And you've got commercial zonings to the east of it. And this is just like the last parcel really that is left residential along this little strip here. Well, one of 2 parcels, 3. And then we've got more commercial zoning going towards Crowell Road. It is in the Almond Overlay Tier 2, which is a non-residential mixed-use tier. The FLUME, or the Future Land Use Map, is a development node. It is in the Yellow River watershed and in Commissioner District 3. This is a survey that was submitted by the applicant. And this is the 2707 parcel that the county currently owns. It has a residential zoning, and that's why they will need a 75-foot buffer around here, wherever they are touching. And they're requesting a variance for that, and that will be heard at the BZA this month. This is the proposed concept plan of the site showing the warehouse. You've got the parking, car parking, and truck parking, and of course the access drive. This is the adjoining Pinion Road lot over here. And that's for staff's presentation. Are there any questions? If not, the applicant is here, Chairman.
Thank you. We're going to open it up now for the applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight. You may come at this time. You have 10 minutes to do so. Please state your name and your address for the record, please. The applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's good to be in front of you again. John Nix, 945 Bank Street, Conyers, Georgia. I represent the applicant and the owner. John Bateman is with me on Kroll Holdings Development. They're the ultimate user of the property, and we'd like to open our presentation with him giving a brief description of the company and the proposed use.
Thank you for your time this evening, Commissioners. My name is John Bateman, located at 3715 Northside Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia. As John mentioned, I'm with Crow Holdings, who's the future owner and the developer of the property. Crow Holdings is a privately owned development company with a focus on building first-class projects across the U.S. I run our Atlanta office and oversee our developments across the Southeast. And we've developed approximately 22 projects around Atlanta over the past 5 years and specialize in shallow bay light industrial, which is very similar to this development here. Our proposed project is 267,000 square feet, and it would be a rear load building, which consists of the office showroom on the front side of the building, which is fronting I-20, and then the loading area in the back of the building. We're planning to build the project on a speculative basis and marketing the building anywhere from 1 to 3 tenants. We plan to identify a tenant and lease the building during the construction phase or shortly after completing the building, which would be in spring of 2025. The I-20 East submarket has seen very strong industrial demand recently and currently has a vacancy rate of less than 5%, which is well below the Atlanta average. This building will meet the needs of the existing companies in the county that are looking to expand, and also those who need a newer or more functional building. As noted in the planning staff report, the proposed rezoning is suitable for this site and the surrounding area. We are very excited to work with the county and build a first-class project, and we know this will bring positive economic development to Newton County. Thank you.
So in front of you is the site plan, and the reason I have that up on the screen is to point out to the rear, and we're going to see it on the next slide, there's an incredible buffer between the residential to the rear because of the topography, because of the intermittent stream, and the restrictions that your zoning places on the property. If we go to the next slide, it's an aerial, and if you begin with our site, which is obvious in the yellow, and start moving left, you see that it's industrial uses as we go back toward the west, and it finally ends with industrial uses and ends in Lytle. I always mispronounce that. This piece of property is the missing puzzle piece to a jigsaw puzzle because it naturally should be, in my opinion, but that matters, but I'm advocating for the client, and I think zoning supports it, should be the requested use of M1. To the right, as we go toward Covington, you have the dental office, and from there you get the new car dealership, and you move on to commercial, and it's transitioning that way. To the rear, you have the single-family residential with an incredible buffer, and the residential already bumps up to industrial underneath the clock. You all know that Georgia law sets out standards for the review of a zoning application. Y'all have codified them in your zoning ordinance. There's 7 of them. And looking at this proposed use and how it lays on the land, the staff, the professionals that review this on your behalf, gave us a recommendation of allowing the zoning. One of the conditions and criteria that you have to look at is the impact of the proposed use on schools, infrastructure, traffic. This use is going to have no impact on schools. It's going to have no impact on water. It's going to have no impact on wastewater because these typically are bathrooms only and have no industrial use purposes for water or wastewater. I go several places and do what I do before y'all, and traffic seems to be the bugaboo, a lot of different places. We've submitted a traffic report, and the conclusion of that traffic report was that this use, following the improvements that GDOT is making to the west, is not going to have any impact on the traffic or a negligible impact on the traffic. Their conclusion states that the installation of this use, the analysis indicates the traffic expected by the proposed development will not have a significant impact to the operation of the roadway network in the study area. No improvements or recommendations are a result of this new development. In fact, the traffic engineer doesn't even expect there's going to have to be a decel or A-cell lane in front of the property on the access road. Now, when we were at the Planning Commission, we went down 5-0 in denial. There was no public comment or opposition to this. The one comment that was made was about traffic. And the conclusion that was read from the traffic study is 3 paragraphs up from the conclusion of the actual study, where it said the current conditions are intolerable. Well, it's a bad situation out there. That's why GDOT has elected to make millions of dollars of improvements to fix that, where the access lane is, I mean, not the access lane, the lane for exit off of I-20 is going to be. This property right now is zoned where it can have a mixed use, consisting of 70% multifamily and 30% commercial. It's allowed by your zoning ordinance. The trip count for this property at our requested zoning is 462 units a day. It's 232 in, 232 out. If this had multifamily, given all the conditions you impose, 15% common area, 12 units per acre, you could put 201 units on the property we're seeking to rezone as a matter of right, as zoned. In addition, because it's mixed use, you could have a fast food restaurant on the 20% that has to be commercial. That trip count would be 2,500 units a day. We're talking about 425 units a day. When you go back to the zoning analysis and the criteria that are imposed by state law, imposed by your ordinance, every one of those analyses resulted in a favorable decision for us. The only thing that came up at the Planning Commission was traffic. But in fact, we're making a proposal for a use that reduces the traffic count at this intersection that's so compacted from 425 as opposed to over 2,500. We're actually making a proposal that impacts traffic in a positive way by reducing the traffic count that as a right could be made of this property. So my contention to y'all is, based on the zoning analysis and the criteria that we have to follow to make decisions in this regard, traffic isn't the issue. We're asking for a use that will reduce traffic. And we got positive results on everything else. So I urge you to consider this application and the recommendation of staff. And I'd like to reserve the bit of time I have left for rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else would like to speak in favor tonight? Brian, if you will hold it, that a minute and 55, please. Thank you, sir. We're going to now open it up for anyone that would like to oppose tonight. You have 10 minutes to do so. If you would, please come there and state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. Ms. Applewhite, I think this is District 3, Commissioner Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Applewhite, it was a denial from the Planning and Zoning Commission. So can you repeat again what was their concerns? Because I received a lot of calls from this actual proposal.
Yes. One of the concerns cited was traffic, and also the other concern was that we have warehouses already. There's one at Lidl, and then there's one off of Dogwood across I-20. So I think those were the two main concerns that the District 3 representative had.
Okay. Although they may not be residents that are present, I received tons of calls about this actual project. And as we know, in the past, we have had many residents show up about the warehouses and so forth on the access road, and there has been issues with the HOA that's closer to that subdivision. I think it's Iris Brook, and they have been put through so much. And I did also talk to attorney, I'm sorry, my name, right? Okay. I spoke to the attorney, and I told him, I did inform him that I have to hear from the people. So I would like to speak to, may I ask if he actually spoke to Iris? Iris, did you speak to that subdivision, Iris Glen, that's next door?
Iris Brook.
Brook, I'm sorry, Iris Brook. Am I able to? Okay, so if I want to have them speak to the community, what would, okay. I would like to make a motion to table this for 60 days to have the applicant speak to the subdivision that is located in that area. And the reason being, they have had issues with Lidle, and there is flooding in that area. And so I would like to know if there's gonna be, if this is placed there, will there be continuous flooding or anything that's disturbing the soil? And so it's in reference to that subdivision has already been through enough. So this is based on the people and what they have told me, and also the planning commission commissioner that was also representing District 3. So that would be my motion, is to have the applicant to have the time. So I guess that'll be 60 days.
Yes, ma'am.
To have the opportunity to speak to the people before moving forward. And once that is done, to come back before the board.
So just to clarify, you're asking them to hold a community meeting?
Community meeting,
Okay.
and we can hold it here at the courthouse. I think that's more appropriate. Is that correct, Patrick?
Okay.
Okay.
It's been motion that we table this for 60 days. Is there a second? It's been motioned by Commissioner Sanders and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any more discussion? All in favor? Thank you. It's staying tabled for 60 days. Thank you. Ms. Applewhite.
Thank you, Chairman. Our next petition this evening is CUP 23-000006. This is a conditional use permit for a driving school. The existing zoning is R2 single-family residential, and it is located in the Salem Overlay Tier 1. The future land use is a development node. It's in the Yellow River and South River watersheds, currently located at 3988 Salem Road. The parcel that they're proposing to put the school on is 1.57 acres of the total of 8.92 acres. And the tax ID number is 0013-057. The character area is the live-work corridor. This is located in District 2. Current owner is Mrs. Franklin Gray, and our petitioner and representative is Oladeli Salimonu. An applicant's intent is to locate a driving school. Again, he's only using the 1.57 acres located on the east side of Salem Road, and the Salem Road actually splits the lot. So there's currently a home that was converted to an office where an auto sales center was located, and there is an accessory structure on the lot as well. And the property is located adjacent to the historic Salem Campground and the United Methodist Church. The site plans that were submitted on the 15th, it shows, and along with a letter of intent, shows that they're proposing to use the existing building as the building for the driving school. So they won't be building anything out. And just a brief history, on 8/22/2023, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this conditional use permit. And in conclusion, the applicant is proposing to have a driving school located in the existing building on the property. The proposed use is located on a state highway, and it's adjacent to compatible uses. And the applicant will be using the current building on the property. Staff believes that the use may be appropriate with the following recommended conditions. Should the petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved for a conditional use permit for a driving school, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. 1, a minor plat must be submitted to separate the 1.57 acres from the rest of the parent parcel. 2, adequate refuse area will be provided. 3, a business license must be obtained and maintained. 4, office hours will be Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And 5, prior to any permits being issued, all plans shall be approved by Development Services, Transportation Engineer, the Fire Marshal. Approvals must also be obtained from all external agencies, the Water Authority, Environmental Health, and Georgia Soil and Water as needed. This is the location of the property. You can see, this is like Spring Road and Salem Road, and you can see Salem Road, this divide the lot. This is the 1.57 acres on the right that applicant is proposing to use for the driving school. So it's currently zoned single-family residential, but it's in the Salem overlay, which allows, with the approval of a conditional use permit, it would allow this use of a driving school. And this is the Salem overlay, Tier 1, and this is the parcel on this side here. You've got a Salem campground up here, and the United Methodist Church, and I believe there's a mobile home park at the bottom here. It is in a development node flume, currently in the Yellow River with a small sliver in the South River, in the northern portion of the lot there. This is in District 2. This is a survey that was submitted by the applicant. And this is a concept plan that was submitted, so they've provided adequate parking. This is the building currently existing that they're planning to convert. And there's also a detached garage on the property here. And of course the driveway, so you've got 2 access. So this is what they're proposing as a site plan for the school. This is just a floor plan that they're proposing. Oh, and yeah. And if there are any questions for staff, if not, this is a public hearing, Chairman.
Thank you. We're going to open it up now for the applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight. The applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight. You have 10 minutes to do so. If you would, please state your name, your address for the record, please.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
My name is Oladele Salimoni, and I'm here for 3988 Salem Road. Proposed for a driving school. This is just to work with 15, 16, and 17-year-olds trying to get their permit from DDS. I just want to say that my background has been teaching. I taught for Atlanta Public Schools and DeKalb County Schools. Left DeKalb County 2012 and opened a school also in DeKalb County. This property will have a classroom where we'll address the children, the rules of the road, signage, how to deal with distractions, how to deal with road rage, how to deal with addressing authority figures. And so basically I want to say that I've had some success working with teenagers, both in the classroom and the school we have in DeKalb County. We've had that school for 13 years under the Department of Driver Services, never had any violations. I also try to lead by examples. My 30-year-old daughter is co-chair of a counseling department for Gwinnett County Schools. Also, my 23-year-old son is a senior at Stanford, reading physics, trying to work for NASA. So we will try to work with some area schools supporting math clubs, science clubs, which is, my background, teaching math. So that's basically, also because there's a church next door, we know services start maybe 6, 7. We propose to close our office at 5, and we'll be also closed on Sundays to allow the church service to go on. So that's basically what I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that would like to oppose tonight. If you would like to oppose tonight, you should come at this time. You have 10 minutes to do so. Please state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Ms. Applewhite. I think this is in District 2, Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the applicant for that presentation. I think this would be advantageous for this community. I'm noticing that a lot of our youth are getting their driver's license a lot later than they did, of course, when I was coming up. And so I think really encouraging our youth to take advantage of this type of education will be great, so that we can ensure that we have safe drivers on the road. Then you also have adults that are later in life that didn't get a driver's license and are now wanting to do that. And so you have a wide range of individuals that are looking to take advantage of these type of services. And so with that being said, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve CUP 23-000006 with the approved conditions.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second? It's been motioned by Commissioner Mason and second by Commissioner Edwards. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 4-0. Thank you. Ms. Applewhite.
Thank you, Chairman. Our next case this evening is also a conditional use permit. It is CUP 23-000008. The proposed use is a special events facility. The existing land use map is commercial. The existing zoning is highway commercial. It is in the Yellow River watershed, located at 2094 Highway 81 and Highway 81. And the parcel numbers are 0045060 and 0045049A. The total acres of the two parcels, one is 2.5 and one is 1 acre, so 3.5 acres. It's located in the established suburban core character area. This is also in District 4. And the owner, petitioner, and representative is Maria Alves. The applicant's intent is to locate a special events facility. This particular project has come before the board for a flume change, which was approved in May, back on May 16th. It was approved to be amended to commercial, and then it came back for the rezoning to highway commercial, and that was approved on July 18th. And on August 22nd, the Planning Commission recommended approval for the CUP for this special events facility. And this is the last item that they would need in order to have this up and running. And again, the site is a total 3.5 acres and on Highway 81. Currently, there are 2 homes that are located in the rear, one on each parcel, and then in the front there is a church that's no longer being used as a church. And in terms of the site plan analysis, the land use density, the applicant is proposing to use the land for the special events facility. And the proposed use reflects the commercial designation of the land use plan and is consistent with applicant's request. And given the existing zoning and development in the area, the proposed conditional use may be appropriate for the area. The owner has provided a preliminary site plan that meets the minimum requirements for a special events facility, such as appropriate buffers, setbacks, and parking. And the site plan has received preliminary approval from GDOT for access off of Highway 81, and also preliminary approval from the fire department. And in conclusion, the parcel is appropriately zoned for the special events use. The applicant has provided a preliminary site plan which meets current requirements for the special use, and GDOT has given preliminary approval. And given the designation of the future land use of commercial and the current zoning of highway commercial, staff is of the opinion that the location may be appropriate for a special events facility. And recommended conditions: should the petition be approved by the Board of Commissioners, it should be approved for a conditional use permit for a special events facility, subject to the owner's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. Where these conditions conflict with the stipulations and offerings contained in the letter of intent, these conditions shall supersede unless specifically stipulated by the Board of Commissioners. So the owner's agreement to the following: A, comply with all Newton County fire codes. B, receptions and other activities shall be held indoors only. C, no fireworks are allowed for any special event. D, the applicant must prove compliance with all required setbacks and buffers prior to the issuance of a business license. E, the fire marshal shall set the guest limit for the event facility. F, the existing homes on the property shall be converted into non-residential use or quarters for the special events facility. G, The owner shall meet all the requirements of the Newton County ordinances prior to any permits being issued. H, the owner applicant shall obtain approvals from Development Services, Public Works, the Fire Marshal, and external agencies such as GDOT, the Water Authority, and Georgia Soil and Water prior to any permits being issued. I, complete a minor plat to combine the properties, and the Planning Commission added J, which would be the hours of operation shall be from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. These are the two parcels that we're looking at. So we have the church here, and one home is here, and the other one is to the rear here. It's off of Highway 81. So the current zoning, the zoning was approved to highway commercial, and it is compatible with adjacent zonings. The future land use is commercial at this time. It is located in the Yellow River watershed, District 4, Commissioner District 4. This is the survey that the applicant has provided. And these are older surveys of the two lots when they were separate. And this is just an aerial site plan. So you've got the existing home here, and of course the church, and the proposed parking is in this area in front here. And the exit is going to be off of 81. And these are just current photos of what is currently there. So the house in the rear, you have the church in front here. So this is this house here. And then there's a house on the other side of the church. It was shown in another picture. So the other house is on this side here, and this is it here. And there's a driveway to it. And these are just side photos of what it has out there now. And if there are any questions for staff, if not, the applicant is here, Chairman.
Thank you, Shana. We're going to open it up now for the applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight. You have 10 minutes to do so. If you would, please come at this time, state your name and your address for the record, please. The applicant and those that would like to speak in favor tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Maria Alves. Property address is 2094, Highway 81, Covington, Georgia 316. I'm here for the special events facility. I'm not sure if you have any questions. It's pretty much what I'm here for.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that would like to oppose tonight. You have 10 minutes to do so. If you would, please come and state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. Ms. Applewhite. I think this is District 4, Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I may. I've had the opportunity to look at this piece of property, and I think I've been talking about this property for, I think, the last week or two. And I think, well, the gentleman who lived from my community in the church, he really given me an earful about this particular piece of property and how he had helped build the church and et cetera. And then I was reminded of the young lady who I had met a while back, and how nice she is, and how much she have a lot of property in our community, in which that's good. But to make a long story short, I'd like to make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
Is there a second? There's been a motion by Commissioner Henderson and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Shana.
Thank you, Chairman. And I believe our final petition for the evening.
I'm sorry?
I believe we have a final petition for the evening.
Okay.
One more. This is an appeals case. Case number is APP 23-000004. The original case number was a variance, VAR 23-000005. The name of the appeal applicant is Charles Flanagan. He's also the property owner, as well as the original applicant. And the property is located at 57 Taunton Road, tax ID 0064B010. It is in District 4. Property is on 0.4 acres. Current zoning is R3, single-family residential, and the current use is residential. Now, the appeal request is to appeal the Board of Zoning Appeals decision for the VAR 23-00005, which was to deny the primary structure less than 1,800 heated square feet. And the original request at that variance was to allow an existing home on the property that is less than the required 1,800 heated square feet. And on 6/22, the BZA, they tabled the positions so that more information could be obtained. And when it came back before them on 7/27, the BZA denied the variance to allow the existing primary dwelling to be less than the 1,800 heated square feet to remain as is. And the reason provided was they did not feel the applicant had provided enough or adequate physical, or to prove adequately that there was a physical land hardship to justify the variance. So the vote was split 2-2, and the chairman of that board broke the tie in favor of the denial. Potential effects on the county. There are none if developed with staff recommended conditions. And the applicable standards: 1, Unified Development Ordinance with amendments through 9/21/21, and we're using that ordinance because he is zoned R3. So it would fall under that ordinance and not the current 2023 one. It is Division 230 R3, Single Family Residential District, Section 230-050, Property Development Standards F, which refers to the minimum house size, and it states that the minimum floor area of the primary dwelling shall be 1,800 heated square feet. And conclusion to findings: so the applicant built his home without obtaining the proper building permits, and the home currently does not meet the required 1,800 minimum square feet, but is approximately 1,300 heated square feet. It is currently incomplete with areas of insulation and drywall missing. He applied for his building permit on 7/14/2023 so that the structure and the necessary inspections can be completed prior to electricity being released and a CO issued. And the applicant indicated that he was unable to expand the home this time due to financial constraints. Recommended conditions. Should the request be approved, staff recommends the Board of Commissioners approve the application with the following conditions. That the variance, VAR 23-00005, is for relief from the minimum heated square feet of 1,800 square feet. 2, the dwelling shall be no smaller than 1,200 heated square feet. 3, the homeowner must obtain an application for a building permit and submit the necessary third-party documentation or inspections for the existing structure. And 4, any other violations on the property must be addressed before a certificate of occupancy is obtained. And this is the location of the property off of Taunton Road, currently zoned R3. It is in the Yellow River watershed. This is a site plan that was submitted by the applicant showing the home, and I believe he's showing his setbacks here. This is a survey of the parcel in subdivision. And these are pictures. This is an older picture from the tax assessor's website, but staff did go out to the property and obtain these photos. So this is what it currently looks like now. And he's currently working on it. And these are just some inside pictures. This is the side yard, I believe, and we've got like the kitchen area. You can see that he's still working on getting the drywall and so on, insulation up. It's currently unfinished. You have the bath area. It's another angle of the kitchen. And yeah. And if there are any questions for staff, if not, Mr. Flanagan is here today.
Thank you. We're going to open it up now for the applicant and those in favor tonight. You have 10 minutes to do so. Please come and state your name and your address for the record, please. The applicant and those in favor tonight.
Hello,
Good
I'm
evening.
back again. I'm trying to get this approved so that I can get my power turned on.
Can you state your name for me, please?
You gotta speak up, can't hear.
Can you state your name for me, please?
Your
Henry Flanagan, Charles Flanagan.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to get my power turned on. I'm trying to get this variance approved so that I can have my power turned on. Also, I went to the doctor last Friday. I've been diagnosed with COPD and type 2 diabetes, so my medication has to be refrigerated, so I do need my power so that I can at least have my refrigerator. That's all I really got to say. I mean, I already got the inspector to come out and he inspected it, said it passed inspection. All that was supposed to be in my paperwork, but none of it shown. That's about all I got to say. I mean, I just need the variance. I mean, I'm doing all I could do. I'm unable to work. I can't work. I got degenerative disc disease. I just can't. I mean, I don't know.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anything you want to say?
The only thing that comes to my mind
Can you
is
state your name yet?
Lisa Flanagan.
Thank you.
I'm his wife. We have permission, signed signatures, which she's got a copy of it from around the neighborhood, all the neighbors, you know, stating
Okay.
that they're okay with it. So
Okay.
Do the neighbors in the neighborhood behind us? Miss Applewaite's got everything, even the copy of the letter from Mr. What's his name? Wales? From the inspector. She had all that. I guess she still got it. I may have it. I just have to dig around, see if I can find it. But I just need my power.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor tonight? That portion of our public hearing is closed. We also allow 10 minutes for those that would like to oppose tonight. You may come and state your name and your address for the record, please. Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Anyone that would like to oppose tonight? Ms. Applewhite. I think this is in District 4. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. C. You know, I had the opportunity more than one time, several times, to go and speak with Mr. Flanagan and his wife, and they're some very, very good people. And I suggested to him that he need to, or at least try to, apply for the home repair so that they could, you know, for people 55 years or older. And I understood his medical condition, and I understand that him and his wife is sleeping out in the trailer on side the house, and it just made me feel bad. And so I said, well, Mr. Flanagan, could you please just go and apply for it, and maybe you could, the county could generate some funds to help you and your wife and repair your home. And I don't know exactly what happened. And I don't know if does he, I guess in this account, does he have an application in that you may be looking at with Mr. Flanagan for his home repair?
We can check to see if he's applied. I don't have it readily available right now tonight, if that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Chairman, I can address that if.
I'm sorry?
May I address the question?
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, we did discuss that with Mr. Flanagan. I don't believe he is in the age group.
Oh, 55 and older.
Yeah, when we told him the age, he said that he wasn't that old at the time, so. But we did, propose that to him as well. But we can certainly, take another look at that again.
Well, it hurts me personally when someone is in need, and it seems like we're helping people, and we can help Mr. Flanagan and his wife. And I believe that what we should do to the best of our abilities as commissioners, I think Mr. Appleway had said that if we approve, he still had to go take some steps. I
That
think
is
that
correct, sir. He would still have to go through the permitting process, as I know the inspection process before we actually issue the electricity and the CO.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm hoping that maybe if he's not on our list to repair, maybe Habitat for Humanity or somebody should try to help Mr. Flanagan, because he needs it. And he lives between his two family members, one on the right side and one on the left side. And it shouldn't be. So I think in order for us to help him, if the board would try to help him, is to approve, make a motion to approve with staff recommendation that once he complete those, then he get his permit. That's my motion.
It's a motion that come by Commissioner Henderson that we approve. Is there a second?
With conditions?
With conditions, I'm sorry. It's a motion by Commissioner Henderson that is to be approved with conditions. Is there a second? Been second by Commissioner Edwards. Any more discussion? All in favor? Stand approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. That was our final petition for this evening.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to item number 10.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank the residents for your patience. Going back, as we were discussing earlier, my appeal is to the travel and training budget that we have here in Newton County. We currently have in 2023 $31,000. Last year we had $44,000 was decreased. I did an open record request based on the county statement, the county attorney's statement. He stated that Newton County only supports ACCG and NACO. So I did an open records, and from that open records, our finance director replied and said there's nothing on file in regards to the county only supporting ACCG, as well as our county clerk also came back and said there's no documents on record or no policy that's in place that the county only supports ACCG or NACO. In regards to that open records as well, as you can see, our chairman also sent that to our county clerk, asking is there a resolution, minutes, email communication that indicates this. Also, wouldn't this decision be based on discretion of the chair's position over years? As Ms. Jackie stated, remember we spoke yesterday, I told you that I do not have any information regarding this and wondering if it was something new that was possibly been discussed. I sent an ORAR to you, Mr. Cooper and Patrick, to see if you had any written information responsive to the request. As far as the past, I think it was the 90s that the chairman attended NACO one time. So there is no records on file that the county, Newton County government only supports ACCG and NACO. I, on August 5th, did an agenda request to add on to discuss this because I hadn't heard a response in over a year. And so I did that. There was no response for a year. The new policy requires the chair to make a decision. I sent 3 emails within 2 months, but received no response from the chair. The board denied the discussion with a 3-2 vote. August 5th, the chair mentioned waiting to hear from ACCG and NACO. And as you can see the email below, an email was sent to Mr. Jeff Christie. And the email also stated, I'm awaiting a return from NACO, but as you can see from the below screenshots, ACCG and NACO do not have NABCO or GABCO listed on any of their pages. NABCO is a part of, affiliate of NACO. GABCO is a part of ACCG. And I'm gonna show you the conflict from this email to the next email. From Mr. Michael Matthews, as I stated from day one in all of my emails, that NACO is an affiliate of, NABCO is an affiliate of NACO. Pleasure to meet you. I spoke with the folks here, can confirm that I said on the call, NABCO are independent organizations with separate governance structures independent from NACO. Our board, our executive leadership team have no decision-making authority over them. As I mentioned, we offer opportunities for all our affiliate organizations to meet at our 2 main in-person conferences, but their participation is not required and decisions are left entirely up to the affiliate. Our participation is not required to attend NACO or ACCG, but we go. It's not required to attend any other conference, but we attend. Let me break down affiliate. I'm a part of Women of NACO. It's an affiliate of NACO. Why Women of NACO is present? So that we can work on women issues and policies and procedures. I'm also a part of the Hispanic. My mother's side is Hispanic. Why I go, I have residents that are also Hispanic and Hispanic descent. So I want to learn about and also know the policies. I also just had a recent meeting. I was called to a meeting from the Hispanic industry here, Hispanic culture here in Newton County on what is Newton County doing for the Hispanics. I was actually just called to that meeting 2 weeks ago. And so that is the reason why that they have these in place. I'm also the chair, as I stated, of Next Gen. That's new elected officials, which is an affiliate of NACO. NACO created these different affiliates to work on those issues. And what it also means separate governance, I want to break that down. That means that NACO does not control their membership. NACO does not control their budgeting. NACO does not only just focus on one specific issue. That's what it means. NACO focus on federal issues. And so if there is an issue dealing with women in regards to fibroids and so forth, that's not going to be brought up before NACO. That comes from the organization, from the women organization of elected officials who are female, to bring that before as an issue related to women. That's called the culture. That's making sure that there's inclusiveness in the organization. That's called inclusivity. That's what we're trying to put forth now in the United States of America, to make sure that we all are included, that no one is excluded. The county attorney responded on behalf of the chair. The county attorney assumed that the chair had sent a letter of decline. However, there was no communication received from the chair as of August 21st, 2023. Furthermore, it was never mentioned that I was representing the county on the behalf. As you can see, it says, I have reviewed the below email and noted that you suggest that your attendance at NABCO conference holds significant value for your representation of Newton County. I'm gonna break that down. To attend the NABCO conference or any conference as a county representative. Not one email said that I wanted to represent as a chairman. As a Newton County commissioner, I am a representative of Newton County. When you go to conferences, it doesn't say Elena Sanders, District 3. You know what those badges say? It says Commissioner Elena Sanders, Newton County, Georgia. Every conference, ACCG, NABCO, NACO, all of them say the exact same thing. Newton County Commissioner Elena Sanders. And that's for every representative across the United States. In my response, I informed that the email undertone seen as the county attorney was speaking on behalf of the chair. And I asked him, I said, are you speaking on behalf of the chair? Because I never received a decline letter. So basically you telling me that the chair did decline, but he never sent an official letter to me. I never received a letter of decline at that time. So the first letter that I was informed that there was gonna be decline to my request came from the county manager, as you can see in this email. And I put in there, thank you for your response. I said, I have not yet received a decline from the chairman regarding me attending this conference during a public meeting. The chairman mentioned waiting for information from ACCG and NACO. As you go back to that other one, that information sent to ACCG and NACO did not get sent to them until August 14th. When I asked for a request to be placed on the agenda, it was August 5th. It's been over a year that I have been waiting for somebody to respond to me. That is unacceptable. Decline letter from the chair. I've never requested to be the designee. The conference does not mandate appointees. It's specifically for elected officials. There is no language mentioned in any document from NACO, NABCO, or NABCO. County commissioners and officials from across the United States attend. ACCG and NACO request a member to vote from each county, which is appointed by the chair. The conference is intended for all commissioners and staff that attend. In 2021, the former county manager mentioned, as I stated, sending only one person to NACO, and that was approached as discriminatory, and also I attended the conference because I actually appealed that. No response from the chair after the responding to decline because I had questions. Because they say we don't support it, it doesn't benefit our actual organization here or our job duties. So I said, Mr. Chairman, we paid for your dues to attend to be a part of the Georgia Association of County Officials. Now, I told you all that I am one of the executive board. I have to state this is not coming at the chair, I'm doing appeal. I have never seen the chair at any meeting. I'm on the executive board. He has not attended one meeting and the county is paying for the dues. I also sat on the panel with the court justice, with Fannie Willis and all of the DAs, and I was a part of that presentation. He was not there. So the county is paying for the dues and he does not attend the meetings or any of the meetings or the panels. Let me break down the role of the commissioner per the enabling legislation. And the reason why I put this here, because it was stated that this does not benefit me as a commissioner and my role and my job as a Newton County Commissioner. The Board of Commissioners of Newton County shall be legislative policymakers. We are the legislative policymaking body of Newton County. Said board shall exercise all of the powers, duties, and responsibility hereafter provided for, well as all powers, duties, and responsibility which are vested in the governing authority of the counties of state by the Constitution and general laws of Georgia. Our job is also to adopt and provide for the execution of such ordinances, resolution, rules, and regulations not inconsistent with the state of Georgia, for the promotion and protection of the safety, health, peace, security, environment, general welfare of the inhabitants of Newton County, to adopt and from time to time amend the budget, to levy taxes, make appropriations, fix the rates of all other charges, to authorize the incurring indebtedness, to set the salary and wage ranges and numbers of employees, to establish, alter, open, close, build, repair, abolish public roads, private ways, bridges, according to the law. It's going on, to exercise all power, duty, authority in respect to zoning and planning, to establish a yearly work plan, which we haven't done, set all specifications for work to be done in the county, to determine the priority of capital improvements, to make periodic inspections of the county properties and of work being carried out by the county, to appoint the county manager and county clerk as provided in this act, and to enter into contracts of employment for the positions such as our county attorney, professional services, included but not limited to legal, accounting, auditing services, and to accept the county provision of any optional statutes where the statute permits its acceptance by the governing authority of the county. And last but not least, the Board of Commissioners shall develop and maintain a work plan outlining the work that shall be taken up under direction of the chair and manager. Now you tell me, should a commissioner be updating themselves for education and growth when our job is to make sure we take care of the inhabitants of Newton County when there's new policies and procedures and things put in place in regards to affordable housing, unsheltered population? If we constantly sit here in Newton County and doing the same thing over and over, we would never have growth and never have knowledge. Because I've gone to these conferences, I have brought back information. Whether we use it or not, that's up to the board. The role of the chair per the enabling legislation, to be the official spokesperson for the county government and their chief advocate of policy as established by the board. And I'm going to break down the definition of advocate. Advocate is someone who actively supports, champions, speaks in favor of, particularly cause, idea, person, often working to promote or protect their interests or rights. To advocate. Advocate works to bring about positive change or raise awareness on specific issues. The chair is also to be available to constituency, citizens, civic associations on a regular basis, to preside at all meetings of the board, to coordinate with the county manager in setting the agenda for regular and specially called meetings of the board, to vote in the event of a tie, to veto acts of governing authority approved by no more than 3 members, and we know there's a limitation on the veto power. Commissioner travel paid by the county. ACCG can be attended by all commissioners in the county. 2 commissioners attend. Everybody knows Commissioner Mason and I probably are the only one that goes for educational growth. It's up to the commissioner. And you have commissioners who have gone for years, and so they let the newcomers actually go. Policy meetings, 2 commissioners attend. NACO can be attended by all commissioners in the county. 2 commissioners attend. If it's a conference that is out of state, multiple days, the county pays for travel, lodging, similar to all counties in the state of Georgia and the United States. Now, in regards to my travel that the county has paid for, Now, there have been companies who paid for me to travel. I want to break that down because there was a mention about the county paid for me to go to Arizona. That was false. That was paid for by NACO because I'm a part of the peer learning group for behavior health. So I go to from counties to learn how they do mental health and how they create their behavior health hospitals. So I'm a part of the peer learning network. I'm also part of CORE with NACO, which is the County Officials Advancing Racial Equity, Criminal Injustice. As you can see, I went to Pima County, Arizona. That was paid for by NACO. I went to Ohio. That was paid for by NACO in regards to prison reform. St. Louis, Missouri, criminal justice and reform. Local Progress paid for me to go to St. Louis. That was not paid for by Newton County. Anytime I go to a conference, I always bring back resources I debrief. I send detailed emails to our commissioners. I send newsletters. I send out information. I post it on social media, and I do various things. As well as I send information to our judicial system where some of our judges said we would like to participate in those various programs. I share information about the grants. We have grants that we have applied for that our consultant is now applying for because I brought it back from other organizations. And also there has been constituents who've asked me, why don't all of our commissioners go to these conferences, Commissioner Sanders? I could provide that resource to you. They said we all should be going for educational growth. Because if not, the world changes, policy changes, everything changes. So we have to make sure we update ourselves. A lot of laws are reiterated to us at these conferences. You're not going to learn sitting in the same place. What happens when you do the same thing over and over again? That's called insanity. Now, I stated in regards to time response. As I mentioned, it is normally, I get responded to 2 months later when I ask for a request or I ask for information. And that comes from staff, that comes from our county attorney, that comes from anyone when I ask for requests. So I put this on here because a lot of us has come from corporate backgrounds, and we don't have a standard operating procedure put in place when we respond to our constituency, when we respond to staff, when we respond to commissioners. I have asked that when I first came in. What is the response time for Newton County to respond to our constituents, to respond to staff? It should never be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months or a year. That should never happen. That is inappropriate and it's disrespectful. Commissioner Sanders' response time with the county. If you look at my emails, and you can do an open records, and I'll send you every last one of them when I ask for requests. Remember, I say open records are down. Beyond the scope of the current agenda item, which took a year to address, we also had to wait for a policy change in 2023 for a request that was from 2022. No response has become the standard practice. Typically, it takes me sending 4 to 5 emails to elicit a reply. Responses are often numbered, and I can send you that, to keep track of the email that's sent. The time gap between emails range from 1 to 2 weeks and sometimes even a month. Unanswered emails from as far back as I have unanswered emails from 2022. And from 3 to 4 months ago remain in my inbox, and I can send them all to you. Currently, there are 2 emails awaiting a response from July to attend a leadership conference, which we already had a commissioner who attended that, and a behavior health conference. Now, with that leadership conference, they had a scholarship for the first time for the first person to attend. After that, it's from NACO. It's a NACO leadership conference that we have to pay for it. You only allow one person to attend for free. So that was sent, and even the representative from NACO sent an email on my behalf to attend this leadership conference. That was sent in July. I still have not received a response as of today. Why should the county support an African American commissioner or any commissioner attending this conference? We represent the African American community. We represent all communities. Commissioner Elena Sanders is the only representative from for black women on this board. We have 3 districts with over 50% African American representation. District 2 has over 50%. District 3 has over 60%. District 4 has over 60%. This came from the map that was sent to us during redistricting. Newton County average population is over 50%. The conference focuses on addressing minority issues and policies as well as strategies for serving underserved communities. topics that are often not addressed in other conferences. Is it wrong to attend a conference that's catered to African Americans or catered to whatever organization or culture? No, it is not wrong. I'm also part of the Hispanic Caucus, as I mentioned earlier, as you can see. And as I come before you all, this shouldn't even have to be to appeal to attend a conference that caters to our constituency. That doesn't say I'm only catering to African Americans. As I mentioned, I'm a part of all cultures or organizations that I attend to get information. But the only individuals that cater to that area is somebody that looks like me, or looks like some individuals that's on this board. Does it say that only African Americans can attend the conference? No. It's just structured and catered towards that. And the other thing I want to mention, just now at 8:15, our county manager just leaned over to me and said, "Did I tell you that you need to recuse yourself?" At 8:15. He said, "Did I send you an email?" I said, "No, sir, you didn't." I said, "No, sir, you didn't. You're just telling me this at 8:15? And he said, "Well, it's an opinion, my opinion, I'm suggesting." And I said, "I'm going to tell you why I shouldn't have to recuse myself." I said, "Because on March 22nd, when I asked you that question about something similar to this, you told me, Commissioner Sanders, as long as you're not receiving finances directly to you personally and benefiting you personally," I have the email from March 22nd, "you do not have to recuse yourself." Because if that's the case, all of us on this board and recuse ourselves for everything because we sit on boards that provide appropriation to other organizations and sit on that board, and we also decide where the money goes. So if that's the case, we all need to be recusing ourselves. Thank you so much.
Is there a motion? Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the funding for Commissioner Sanders to go to the conference.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Henderson and second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. I break the tie. Chair break the tie as is stated in denial. Thank you. Next is item number, Latonya.
Yes, Chair. The next item on the agenda is actually in three-part. We have 11, 12, and 13 all being presented by our director, Mr. Chester Clegg. Number 11 is Public Works, requesting BOC to authorize the chairman to execute an agreement with Georgia 811 for the county to provide utility location services for all county-owned traffic signals, and it is budgeted. It's an annual $200 fee. 12 would be requesting approval by the BOC to contract with Nova Engineering and Environmental to provide materials, testing, inspection services for Access Road. That fee is $19,655. That is also budgeted. And the last item, number 13, is requesting the BOC to authorize the chairman to execute a supplemental agreement with GDOT for CR 511 and Brown Bridge Road. That particular item is budgeted with a 20% match.
Thank you. Chester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The state law has changed and requires the counties who don't operate utilities to still be part of the 811 utility locate program. So we'll have what they're aiming at is protecting our signal lines at our traffic signals, and so we'll have to locate those lines when there's a construction close to the traffic signal intersections, and that's a $200 annual fee.
Thank you, Chester. I seek a motion, please.
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 3-0. Thank you. Mr. Chester.
The second item is we need a material testing company engineer to do the testing for the Crowell Road, Access Road bypass project, and that's actually gotten started the last couple weeks. And Nova Engineering was the cheapest at $19,655, and we had two bids. One was from United and one from Nova, requesting that the board approve Nova for this project.
Thank you, sir. I seek a motion, please.
Second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 4-0. Thank you.
In order to receive additional grant funding for the Yellow River Bridge replacement project, it came in, I guess you remember, about 6 months ago, higher than the cost estimate was, and we needed additional funds. And in order to receive the funds, we have to, the chairman has to sign an agreement with GDOT. The total of the funds is $1,258,657.
Thank you, sir. I seek a motion, please. It's been motioned by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. Any discussion? All in favor? It passes 4-0. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chester. Next is citizen comments. This opportunity will allow citizens to make comments. You have 3 minutes to do so. Please state your name and your address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Curtis Galson. I live at 9104 Cecilia Street, Covington, Georgia, Nelson Heights. I just got to ask one question. There's been a lot going on in the community as far as the community center. And I just want to ask a question. Is it going to reopen?
So the way it works, hold on for a second. If you can stop it, thank you. The way it works, you can ask a question and in the commissioner comments, we'll respond to your question. That's the way it works.
Okay. The next question I have, I noticed earlier y'all passed the lady was something about the church and the program that they were going to have, that she wanted to build something for the kids. Well, you know, I feel a little shut off that y'all done shut my neighborhood off, because I have kids that's 4 and 5 years old. And there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood. Parents have kids, and I want to see the community center open back up. I don't care what happened before this day. We need to move forward and get it back up and rolling. And the beef that y'all having, we shouldn't even have. We better than that. And it really hurts me to feel that we done failed this far down as far as letting Nelson Heights fall down, because Nelson Heights ain't never had nothing. We always been last for everything. And Chairman, I ask that you work with everybody. Let's get this operation back up and going so these kids can go back to having fun, because y'all spent too much, whatever little bit of money y'all spent out there, we still want our kids to enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to make comments tonight?
I just want to piggyback on last Wednesday night when you all denied the citizen make a comment. One thing I noticed, people are not dumb. I noticed y'all showed checks. I can write anybody in here a check for $1,000 as long as I don't run it through the bank. You should have had the back of that check, those checks, to see that it run through the back, bank. So you can show a check all day, the front of a check, but you need to show a back of the check where it run through the bank. The other thing is, I noticed, we all know, and I gotta say this here, when y'all elected a county manager, we knew why y'all didn't want that woman, because we know all y'all in cahoots together. The lawyer, the county manager, and the three commissioners, y'all in the cahoots together. You sit here tonight and look at how low down y'all did. Y'all just did all the low down, and it's a shame. The other thing is, I want to know how many commissioners up here got PPO money for their spouses and their self for their business. You want to sort of fill in on that, Commissioner Mason? Did you get some of that money? Your wife get some of it? Think about that. People need to know how much corruption go on up here. Wow. It's a shame the way y'all act. And y'all the clown of the state of Georgia.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Commissioner Henderson. You got anything? Commissioner Sanders.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I really appreciate it. It's kind of, last week, well, the last meeting, I watched that videotape over, probably 100 times. I watched it over and over and over again. Then I was sent information saying it wasn't no audio. Then I finally got the audio, and it was the exact same information. I'm going to say this, and it reminds me, it sparked my, I would say, attention when I was watching Judge Hatchett with her situation she just went through. She said she didn't report it because people always see her as a strong woman. They always see her as a outspoken woman. And anything she says or does, individuals going to think it was her fault. Anything that comes out of her mouth, people are going to think it's her fault because she's outspoken. The first thing they say when an African-American woman speaks and is outspoken is that she's aggressive. That's not a compliment at all. They say she's aggressive, or it's a black angry woman syndrome. I'm not angry at anybody on this board. We can go up in here and debate, and the next day I can speak to you. I've done it many times. The next day I can talk to you and keep on going. That's always been my MO. Now, if you don't speak to me, that's just how it is. But if you come up to me and ask me a question, I'm going to respond to you. So we're going to debate back and forth here on this board. That's how it is. We all fight for our communities. Everybody know I'm fighting for Parks and Rec for my district. I shouldn't be fighting for Parks and Rec in 2023. I shouldn't be. But everybody knows that's what I'm fighting for in my area. Everybody knows I'm going to fight, and I'm going to bring records and receipts, no matter what. You can open records me, and I'll send it to you. But it doesn't constitute because somebody says something or you don't like what you said. I can see if I cursed you out. That didn't happen. I can see if that happened. It doesn't constitute certain behaviors. I don't care. There's been a time when me and another commissioner had a situation. We sat there right next to each other, didn't even touch each other, going back and forth, debating. Didn't touch, didn't do none of that. And they can vouch for that. You were there, right? We didn't say nothing. So we should not have to say anything or try to attack somebody because you don't like what they say. And it's horrible that they always think because it's the outspoken black woman fault. They always think, and I'm thankful for the constituents who saw it. I'm thankful for the constituents who saw it from the beginning. It's time out for it. We are not the only board that argue back and forth. We're not. There's worse board than Newton County. I've gone to other commissioners' board meetings and seen them online. I've seen them online, and there's worse than us. Please believe. I say thank God for Newton County. I have said that many times. Thank God for Newton County because we definitely are not like this board. So what you see here, there are worse boards than that. Corruption has always been in Newton County. I keep it real. You know why it's highlighted? Because people have camera phones and social media. And now it's coming out. Now it's coming out. When God comes in the midst of correction, it's going to look like confusion until he straightens it out. That's what happens. Thank you.
Commissioner Mason. Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Goss, if you're the Curtis Goss, I think you are. You had a fast F-100 at one time when we were kids growing up, I believe. If you're the same Curtis Goss, we're about the same age. But anyway, thank you for your comments. My ask is going to be that if he hasn't started the process already as our county manager, find a tenant for Nelson Heights Community Center so that those kids receive the program, the programming that they deserve and need over there. So in that community. So my hope is I'm with you, and I believe the majority of this board feels the same way. So I'm going to ask that our county manager work on that as early as convenience, if you would. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I seek a motion. I seek a. Wait. Guys, so. Yeah. Guys, so I seek a motion that we adjourn, please. The motion by Commissioner Edwards and second by Commissioner Mason. All in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you so much.